This is Journey Back, Chapter 25, Restitution. Restitution. 1. A giving back to the rightful owner of something that has been lost or taken away. Restoration. 2. A making good for loss or damage. Reimbursement. In the waiting room at the prison's medical clinic, there was a bunch of stuff on the coffee table. A Bible, a copy of Sports Illustrated with the cover ripped off, a People magazine, and a dictionary. While I waited to get 20 stitches out of my scalp, I hobbled over and picked up the dictionary. No small task when you're in handcuffs and your feet are shackled. But I wanted to look up the word my public defender had used so many times. Restitution. The word that was going to keep me from ever realizing my dreams. I guess I always thought I'd go straight back to Cliffside when I got caught, but that's not what happened. I went in a police car to the hospital where the gash on my head got stitched up. Then I went straight to a small prison in this place called Hagerstown. It wasn't anything like Cliffside, which is in the mountains with no real fence around it. When we drove into this Hagerstown prison, I caught a glimpse of a high brown concrete wall with razor wire all around the top of it. After getting buzzed in, I shuffled a few steps with my handcuffs and shackles. Then I had to wait for a guard to punch in a code to open another door. There was a solid mechanical clunk when the lock released and the door opened. I shuffled some more, another clunk, then I shuffled again down the hallway to where they put me in a tiny one-room cell about the size of a closet. The cell didn't have anything but a stainless steel sink and a toilet, and a metal cot with a thin mattress and some bedding rolled up tight at one end. No window to look out of, just a tiny rectangle of glass in the door. 30 days in the hole, one guard told me. So I guess that cell was going to be my home for a while, until the court decided where I got sent, and how much more time they would tack on. Didn't matter to me anymore what they did. After everything that happened, I almost didn't care. I was thinking I'd just do my time and try to move forward with my life. For sure, I was relieved to be done running. A couple days later, this public defender guy came to see me. He said he was Timothy Joseph, which struck me weird, like having two first names for a name. He seemed too young to be a lawyer, but he was nice and acted like he cared. He brought me a can of Coke and didn't seem rushed. "I'm going to represent you in court, Michael," he said, "so it's important that you tell me everything about your life from the beginning, okay?" I figured I would cooperate. What the heck? I didn't have anything to lose at this point, and I was still in limbo land, wondering what they would do to me. First off, I told them, "Don't call me Michael. Everybody calls me Digger." "Okay, Digger, tell me your story." So I took a big breath, and I told him my story. I told him about growing up on the eastern shore of Maryland with my friends JT and Brady, my mom, Leanne, and Hank. I even told Mr. Joseph some of the stuff my father did to me and my mother over the years, so he had the whole picture and understood why I ran away from Cliffside in the first place. Being a public defender, he already had papers that told him about the Red Kayak and how Ben D'Angelo died, so I didn't need to go into that again. But I did tell him how I still carried the weight from it, and how I knew I always would. "That's one thing I learned for sure living out these past 2 months," I said. "No matter how far I run, or how long I'm gone, I'll never get away from that weight, because it's part of who I am." I thought a lot about this, I said. And I decided that the only thing I can do is live a decent life to try and make up for all the wrong I did. Maybe the weight will get a little lighter, but that's all I can hope for. Mr. Joseph tilted his head and nodded slowly. "I think that's a real good way to look at it. Yeah, I just hope that I can have like a halfway normal life too," I added. "You have a long life in front of you, Digger, and it can be a good one, even with the weight you carry. It's up to you how you shape that life. Have you ever thought about what you might want to do? Do you have any goals? Any dreams?" My head had been kind of hanging down the whole time I talked, but I looked up then. "I don't know that that's possible with all I've done," I said. "But I'd like to join the Marines one day." His eyebrows went up, like he was impressed with that idea, but he didn't say anything for a few seconds. I knew what the hesitation meant. He didn't even have to tell me, but he did. "The Marines? Well," he cleared his throat. "Unfortunately, I don't think so, Digger. You've already had one felony conviction, the second-degree murder charge that put you at Cliffside. Now you're facing felony theft for stealing the truck. That'll be 2 felonies on your record. The Marines are not going to look the other way on that." Even though I was expecting that kind of answer, it still hit me hard. No chance, then, I had to ask, for me to ever be a Marine? He shook his head. I'm sorry, then he added. When you screw up, it has consequences. That seemed kind of harsh, but it was true, I guess. My eyes fell away from his. I stared down at the dirty, scuffed-up tile near my feet as my dream seeped out and disappeared, leaving a hollow feeling inside. All those years I had that dream, now it was gone. Look, Mr. Joseph said. He leaned forward and put his hands on the table between us. A lot of people have to change their dreams, Digger. Things happen. You adjust. You have to roll a little with life. He opened his hands. So you're not a Marine? There are a lot of other things you can do. You're strong. You're smart. You know what? Inside that tough shell you carry around, you've got a good heart. I'm telling you that can take you far in this world. It was almost exactly what Nora had said to me. I don't think he noticed, but I winced a little because Mr. Joseph had poked the tender spot I nursed deep inside for Nora. Would I ever see her again? Would she write to me? My public defender leaned back in his chair and opened my file on one of his crossed legs. I'm hoping the court will take a lot of factors into consideration and not give you too much more time. I sat there, unfeeling, as he thumbed through my papers. At least you didn't commit any violent acts while you were on the run. Well, except for I hit this guy Miguel. If a lawyer was examining my life, he might as well know everything. I punched him out good. I think I may have broken his nose. He frowned at me. I didn't see anything about a fight. No, probably not. Miguel's an illegal, you know. He probably didn't want to bring attention to himself by reporting it. Mr. Joseph didn't comment. Quietly, he closed my file. Guess he didn't want to get involved with that. Not that I cared much then, but it bothered me later on that we both kind of brushed it aside. Look, Digger, he said. The point here is that we tell your story in court. We say you're sorry, that you changed, and that you're... Why are you smiling? Because you said that I changed. Why is that funny? I shrugged. Because I guess I didn't think I could change. He didn't even blink. Of course you changed! I mean, you could have kept on running, but you didn't. You didn't have to jump in that cold river. You didn't have to risk your life saving those horses in the barn fire. You didn't have to take such good care of Andrew or Luke or whatever his name is. All these things, they were totally selfless acts. You're a different person now. You're matured. I thought about that, and I didn't know about matured, but I was changed some. I stopped running at least, and it's true, I did look at things different. He continued, so we talk about how you've changed and how you're ready to serve your time and pay restitution for the damage you did. Authorities recovered the stolen bicycle and the canoe, but the big thing is damage to that tractor-trailer truck. At first, I thought what he meant was that I'd have to serve more time for stealing the truck and burning it up. But then I looked up the word in the dictionary when I was at the clinic, and the next time I saw Mr. Joseph, he made it clear what restitution meant. It meant I would be held responsible for actually paying for the damage I'd done. Paying. As in money. I did some research, Mr. Joseph said, picking up a legal pad with notes. A tire on a tractor trailer can cost from $350 to $600. That's for standard width. The new Michelin X1 tire, which is twice as wide, is a bit more, so we'll have to find out what kind of tires were on that truck. From what I see, you pretty much burned up all 18 tires as well as the cab. Wow. Math was never my strong point. But if I ruined all those tires, then $350 times 18 wheels was a big number. Thousands of dollars. And that was just the minimum. It would take me years to come up with that kind of cash. I shook my head sadly. How could I ever start over and have a life if I owed all that money? What was the point of even trying to find another dream? And that is the end of chapter 25.